All right, g'day Jen, nice to meet you.
Hey.
Alrighty, so we're just in the main screen of Gyro at the moment, and we're just going to go through the invoicing module. So there's a couple of parts to that. There's invoices that will come into the system, so suppliers and trades will email their invoices into iGyro, and it will capture the data for you. The other part is an approval process as well. So you have a project manager or someone in the business that will go through and approve invoices once they've been entered into the system. All right, so let's open up the invoices screen. So this is your system here, Denise. So we're just looking at a few of the invoices that have come in. And there's a couple in here that I've just duplicated just so we can do a few trial runs with these. So emails will come in. So everyone will have their own account's email address. So Denise and Jen, you'll just get all of your suppliers and trades to go through and email your email address, which is newengland.ap@inh.com.au. All right, and any PDF invoices that come in will be sent directly into here. So really what you need to try and do, I guess, up front is just try and send an email out to all of your suppliers and trades and let them know what you're expecting from them in order to get paid in a timely manner. So you'll need them to email that email address, send through a PDF purchase order or a PDF invoice with a purchase order on it, and an ABN number of theirs as well.
Yep.
And with those details, that should be enough for you to capture the data that you need.
Sounds good.
I showed you a little bit, didn't I, the other day?
Yeah, that sounds very
So you
straightforward.
know how it came up here and it scanned it.
Yep.
So there.
Sure.
So we've got 4 in this system here. So there's one here, and it's from Coastwide Concrete Pumping. Now, what I tell everyone is that you're probably better off running with 2 screens. So you've got 2 screens on your office computer. You can separate the invoice out and do data entry on one screen while looking at the invoice on a full screen on the other side.
Yeah.
All right, so if we pop that out, so there's this screen here, which you can move over to another screen and view that invoice in full screen, so that text is actually legible for you. So you can zoom in and out, obviously. All right, but by default, it's just docked into this little window here.
Yeah.
So this invoice is coming on its own, and Gyro has entered all of this detail, so none of this entry had to happen. So it's already captured that data directly from the invoice for you. So it saves the entry and hopefully human error as well. What this should do, though, is actually compare it against a purchase order that's already in the system. So your estimating department would have made a purchase order and let you know whether it's gone over order or not and whether it's matching. This particular one hasn't matched. I can see that this supplier put a typo in it. So if we bring that invoice up, that purchase order should actually have another 0 in the middle there. It should be MC180004. So it's an incorrect purchase order.
Wow.
All right, so if you want to be really hard about it, which you can be, I guess, after a period of time if you're not really complying with what you're asking you to do, is if they don't provide a purchase order number or the order is too hard for you to work out, there's some pre-formatted emails in here. So you can right-click this line item and say that it's an invalid purchase order number. If we click on that, it'll pop up a pre-formatted email. You can send it back. It'll give them a link back to their PDF with all the details that you do have. And essentially, you just ask them to send it through again with the correct purchase order number attached.
Yeah. And I agree.
All right, so you can start to come up with a hard and fast rule. Like as you get busier and busier, you might want to do that. So you're not wasting your own time trying to work out where this should be assigned to.
Yeah.
In this case, it's clearly just missing a number. So we'll fix that one up. So I'll just enter that detail. As soon as I tabbed out of that field, it's recognised that order number, and it's recognised that that is now part of this job and part of this cost centre.
Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
All right. So you can look at these fields now. We'll just save that, and now it knows what job it is. It knows who the project manager is, who the estimator is, and gives some stats about the invoice number and, the order number and the cost centre.
Yeah.
So,
And that is more than the purchase order, which we knew.
Yeah. So the ordered amount was $990,
Mm.
and the invoice amount was $1,230. So it's highlighted in red to say that it's gone over that ordered amount.
Yeah.
All right. So that's for that particular order number, which is 115.2. So that's the second load on that order number. So if you look at the next line down, so the cost center is 115. So you had an allowance of $1,980 for the entire cost center. So you're $750 under the cost center allowance. So you might find that if there's another purchase or another invoice that come in, it might be under. So you still might have to give and take there and let them get it through under that cost center.
Okay.
But really, that's at the discretion of say the project manager in charge to work out what's happening there.
Yeah.
So all the data's right. So there's not much you can do about it being over order. So we'll just verify the data entry and say we're happy with the content that's there. And what happens underneath the hood here, if we pop this invoice out of the way, is that it's set up an approval process here. So it's saying that Denise has verified the data entry for that invoice. It's now been assigned to Peter Hallwood because he's the project manager. And in this instance, it's been assigned to a manager as well, just because it's gone over the purchase order amount. So in your business at the moment, Denise, you've got Peter, the project manager, and the manager. So he will just hit the approve button twice, essentially. But as you grow, you might end up with an additional project manager. So they might sign it off first, but it will be assigned then to Peter as a manager just to double check the reason why it's gone over.
Yeah, cool.
If it matches the purchase order, there's no need for a manager to sign it, and the system won't assign it to a manager. It'll just go directly to the project manager, and that's all the approval.
Yeah.
All right. So when you fill that out, so it's now waiting on Peter, you'll find that it's moved over to a separate section here, which is the waiting on approval list item over here. So you've got quite a few things sitting here waiting for approval.
They're paid.
Yeah.
Peter just hasn't logged in and done them, but yes.
No, but it's showing the point there. So if you have multiple project managers, you can group by items as well. So we can say, who they're waiting on.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got one item here that's waiting on the project manager, waiting on the manager to sign. And all of these 12 items here are waiting on Peter to sign. Peter, you're a bit slack.
Always, mate. I'm the one always getting yelled at.
I'm going to wrap over the knuckles.
Whatever.
All right, so from Peter's point of view, he would log in here and he'd have a section here that says waiting on my approval. So he would click onto that, and these are the invoices that he would see to approve.
Yeah, and then you
click on each one of these, and what you'll see here, you'll see the same data that you saw when you were entering the data. You'll see the ordered amount and the invoice for that.
Yeah.
So Peter can look at the invoice as well. There's a button at the top right here that says Show PO. All right, so this will give you the purchase order that's associated with that invoice. All right, so especially if something's gone over a particular amount, you can read through that purchase order on screen and try and work out why there's a discrepancy there.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Okay.
So I haven't signed off on.
Yeah.
Have they been paid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like you're just ahead of yourself there.
Yep.
All right, so I'm not sure there's any that are over order here or not. There's one there.
Yeah, that's the one that you just approved, I think, which is the one I couldn't work out how to do. It's just why it was still sitting.
Yeah, I see. All right. So if this is sitting in Peter's pile, he's getting these little red flags to say, look, there's a discrepancy of $240 on this particular invoice.
Yeah.
So Peter's got some choices to make there. He'll have a look at the invoice, have a look at the purchase order. Peter would know what's happening on site, so just makes a judgment call on what to do with that invoice.
Yeah.
So Peter might say that, okay, well, I'm happy that the work's been done, but they shouldn't have charged more. In that instance, he would write a comment and say, you know, please pay to purchase order. So that means you're going to short pay that invoice. Okay, but it'll be up to the bookkeeper from that point. So Peter will say, you know, please pay to
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then he'll just say approve with conditions.
Yes.
And that will turn up in this approve with conditions area for that process.
So Tim is saying, say for that one where it's gone over, so you put a comment in there.
approved with conditions, so Jane could log in and go, I can pay it, no, not that much, or why, or and she can say why. Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll just approve it and it will just go through like anything else and you'll just overpay it.
Yeah.
All right. So we go back to that not verified section. So again, that's where all your emails come into.
Yeah.
We'll have a look at this one here. Bring the screen back. So this is a Stoddart's one. So this is just a statement. So it's not really something you'd like to process, but you might want to file your statements away somewhere.
Yeah, I've just been deleting them.
Yep.
In Gyro, and you said they always stay there.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're happy to do that, what will happen if we delete that? So we see that delete button just here.
So his email.
One item deleted.
So it just stays in this folder.
There's a folder over here that says deleted.
So you can check them.
Yeah.
Check your statements. But
Yeah.
it just means, yeah. So I've just, and some people email. I had someone email an account, like an inquire to set up an account, and it came to this address as well. So I just.
So what you might want to do, because like this one looks like it's a Trend window email. Now, if that was a statement, you might want to at least assign it to Trend.
Oh, okay.
Say
Yep.
Trend, and I can't actually save that while it's deleted here.
So do that before I change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so before you delete it, just type in the company that you'd like to assign it to and save it, and that way you can see words here. So if you're looking for something from Stoddart, you can type in Stoddart into the filter at the top.
Yeah.
It'll give you all, everything associated with Stoddart.
Nice.
Alrighty, so we'll go back to the invoice pile again. Alright, so this is an invoice that I've purposely duplicated in here. So you've got one sitting here.
Yep.
Now this hasn't really been captured straight off the bat. It's got a little bit of detail for you, like the date. That's pretty much all it's picked up.
Yep.
So if this is a supplier that, or a trade that you get regularly, it'd be worthwhile training the system on how to read that data. So when it does come in, it can automatically read it. And if you've got valid purchase orders for it, it should actually come in, grab the data, find the purchase order number, assign it to the right people for you. And if
Yeah,
it's,
I found quite a lot of them. I've had to put the details in myself.
yeah, okay. So it depends on what that is. So if people are scanning in purchase orders and it's not a proper electronic PDF, you'll probably have to always enter that data in. But if it's a proper computer-generated PDF, it has a good chance of reading it. If it hasn't seen it before and it's not a recognised format, you'll have to train it on how to read the data.
Yeah.
So I'll show you how to do that. All right, so this is a new invoice that didn't really recognise straight off the bat. So in the very top left-hand corner here, there's a show rules.
Oh, yeah.
So this is how we train it how to read this purchase order, this invoice. So the reference is the invoice number. So we'll locate that on here somewhere. What we do is a hook column. And it's just a word that's very close to the text that we want. So I'm highlighting invoice in the column there. And click on this little button next to reference. And that will go green to tell you that you found a valid hook that's in the right vicinity of the area that you're finding this invoice number. We'll highlight the invoice number, click on the value button, and we're just training it on how to find that invoice number. So we'll do the same for the order number. It looks like they're just typing in their description. So it's important for them, when you're emailing out to your suppliers, you say you need a purchase order in a consistent manner. So they've always got to type it in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
we're highlighting and then taking that info, copying it and pasting it over into the...
That's essentially what that's doing. So you can type it in there as well. So I'm hitting that button I'm highlighting it and then copying it over with the button. Otherwise you can start typing. It should pick it up for you. So purchase, order. So it's reading that invoice as we're going, and we can select from those options. All right, and we'll grab the order number.
Yeah, cool.
And the document date, invoice date, this one's called.
Yeah.
And the date.
So,
strange, this one says it's already paid, so they're giving you an invoice to say it's been paid.
Yeah.
But usually you just get an invoice to pay. So we'll highlight this amount here. Highlight the amount. Apply that. All right, so that's the training process done. So it won't automatically read it for you, but there's a tools menu at the top here. So if you go to the invoice tools, we can say process invoice rules.
Yep.
That should go through and read that invoice according to the rules that we've just given it.
Oh, look.
That's been processed, so it's read all the data, and because it matched the purchase order, automatically approved it for you. It's all done. All right, so it's assigned to Peter, data entry has been validated, it's been ticked off, off it goes. So in this case, Jen would never see this. This would just come into iGyro, they'd read it, assign it to Peter, and be done with it.
Yeah.
All right. So again, here's the next one. This is a duplicate one. So I'll process the rules of this one.
Yeah, they're all. No.
All right, so what's actually happened here, it's read everything, but it's found some discrepancies. So it hasn't approved it or hasn't verified the data entry. It's waiting for more involvement to try and work out what's happened here. So if you hover over these exclamation marks, it's saying there's 2 duplicate supplier reference numbers. That means the supplier is giving you the same invoice twice.
Yeah, he did. He had it in the wrong name. When he
Well, I've purposely duplicated this one just to show you.
Oh, so you did. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
So just in case, they might send you an invoice and then a month later send you the same invoice and you might inadvertently pay it at some point.
Yeah.
So this is a catch for that, just so that doesn't happen. So this one here also has 2 duplicate order numbers as well. So click on any one of these. Save that now. Click on that. That'll do a quick search for you. It'll take you to the search folder.
Okay.
And what it's doing is showing you the discrepancy. So if there was a 3rd duplicate or you've had 4 invoices that were all assigned to a particular purchase order, they would all show up here so you can look through them one at a time and try and work out why there's all these duplicates.
Yeah.
So you might find there's a purchase order of 18,004,175 and you get 4 invoices for it. They're doing it in 4 different lots. So they might have $2,000 for the first 3 and the remainder on the 4th one.
Yeah.
So that's still a valid way to pay it. Just means you get this little flag to say there's a duplicate purchase order number being used, but all these little green lights will tell you that it's still underneath the ordered amount.
Yeah. I think the that Luhire one has had that.
So what's that next?
There's the Luhire on site.
Yep.
Postal hire, so it's been coming through every month. Because I noticed a couple of them did have that.
Yeah, so do you know who the supplier is for that?
So Coastal Hire, second one up underneath Matt.
Coastal Hire. Okay, so you can see that's flashing there. So it's saying there's 3 duplicate order numbers here.
Yeah.
If we click on that, that will show us the 3 duplicates.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll give you a total, 478 at the bottom in the blue row.
Yeah.
Alrighty, but you can still see everything's green, so we're still underneath the ordered amount.
Yeah, I saw that too, so that's what that is. I was going to ask you, I was waiting for today to ask, so that's good.
Yeah, so you can see that row here. So we've got an invoice for 308, for 170, and that's a 0-1 because we haven't processed that by the looks. But it gives you a total at the bottom in the blue tally, 478.50.
Yep.
And that's matched these here.
Yep.
So it's just totaling up all of those items that are against that order number.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Alrighty, so again, so when Peter's approving these things, he'll see all the information as well.
Yep.
So he'll still say that, obviously the toilet hire, that happens all the time, they'll invoice you in 3 or 4 different lots.
Yeah.
Okay, but you might find the very last one, for some reason, goes over the ordered amount. So whether it's gone over time, Peter would know whether, job's gone over and so the toilet hire took longer and whether we should approve that or not. Otherwise, he can decline it and say, sorry, we're not paying. There's no reason for you to overcharge us.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, Jen, that'll, I guess, be your responsibility there to look through these. So,
Yeah.
approve with conditions. So anything that shows up in here, approve with conditions, you'll have to read the comments that someone's put there for you. and process accordingly.
Yeah.
So you know, Peter might say it's, you know, short pay this one, or he might say only pay half of it.
Yeah.
So you know, they've done half the work, but they're coming back in 2 months to do the rest. But you're approved to pay half. So I might have to show you how to do that. So on this invoice, for example, if you wanted to pay half of that, we can split the invoice up, so you can approve part of it and then put another one back in the system waiting on approval for the second half. So if we go to the invoice tools, we can do an invoice split.
Invoice split.
Okay, so the way we'll do that is we'll just do take 1 and 1. And we'll just split that for now. So that's basically just duplicated that invoice. All right, so we can enter that data again. Okay, so we've created a duplicate, but you just might pay half of that then.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, well, I just said
So you can send those straight.
So we'll just go 577.
Once they're okay.
Add to that comment and say, you know, pay half, pay half. All right, so we'll make that one 577 as well. It's just a reference for you then, so that later when you look it up and say, well, why did I only type it in as 577 instead of the full amount?
That's flashing because
It's
it's
got some sort of reason why.
And so that's the duplicate
Yeah.
order number.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the duplicate order number again. So we've got 3 now because I purposely duplicated one before and we just split this one.
Yeah.
All right. So in that case, if you only had the 2 in there, it'd say there's 2 duplicates. And you click on that and it would bring it up and you'd see that the total actually matches what you'd expect it to be. So it'll total those 2 halves and you'd see exactly what the amount should be. All right. Now, have we got any questions at this point?
No,
That's pretty.
yeah, I played with it heaps, and I did show Jen briefly the other day, so that's a new start.
All right. So you'll probably find as you get more and more invoices through, you might have some questions on how to tackle tricky items.
Yeah.
And that's fine. So just give me a call at that point and I can help you through past that. But the general process is once these things are approved, so Peter will approve them, you need to import them into Xero. All right, so the way that we'll do that is just go to the search screen and you just pick some dates. So we'll say, you know, you want to import everything. I don't know what's in here at the moment, Denise, so I'll just go back quite a way.
Yeah, I haven't done that at all. So what did you do? You did search then?
Yeah, just a search and then the dates.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So just the date. So you might find that you do it, you know, every week on a Friday or something. So you just pick the next day after the last export that you did.
Yep.
All right. So it looks like there's only 1 item in here.
That's probably
export, but you might find once.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the only one approved. So let's see who did that one. Oh, Peter did that one. Well done, Peter.
Yeah. You approved one of
You
the
approved one.
invoices.
So once Peter approves everything, there should be a large list of items here to export. So we'll go file, export. Exit, I didn't mean to do that. Wrong button.
And then export, was it?
Yeah,
You meant to do.
Export, yes, yeah. Let's do that again. So we'll do a search. We want everything that's approved between 2 dates.
Small, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, that's Tim's screen.
that's Tim's screen.
File, export, purchases to Xero. Okay, so this is a default code. So all these cost centers you'll map to GL accounts in your system. Anything that doesn't have a mapping there will default to this code that you type in here. So 300 by default, otherwise you can, if you've got a different default account, you can change it to something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll export that. And I'll just export a CSV file for us.
Oh, so it goes to CSV file. Okay.
All right, so this has got the one item here. So if there was 20 items there, you have 20 rows here to import. And this is a file that Xero can recognize. All right, so I've got a screen for Xero. This is just a demo company. But if we go to business, bills to pay, and there's an import button here.
I've seen
So if we hit import, okay, we've got a Xero file to import.
Yeah.
So it talks about this template file, but essentially that's what Gyro has created for you. It's created a populated Xero template. So you don't need to worry about any of this stuff. You just need to browse for the file.
Yep.
Then we just export it. And there's a couple more options at the bottom, but we'll hit import. I'll tell you how many items that it's found. Complete that import. And this is the invoice that's imported for you. So again, if it was 20 or 30 or 200 items, it doesn't matter. Okay, so these are drafts at the moment. So what you would do then is just hit that box at the top. It'll tick all 20 if there's 20 there, and just hit approve because you know all the data's already there. It's already been approved. It's right, just bring straight in. All right, that's pretty much all we can do there for the import.
Stage.
So Xero has its own checks as well. So you might find, it might flag some other discrepancy for you. Now, I do need to show you that setup screen. So back in the admin panel, we've got this cost center button. So all our purchase orders are made out to these cost centers.
Where were you? Admin.
Cost center.
Yeah. So home, admin, cost center.
Yep.
All right, so there are your cost centers. So we've got no GL mappings here at the moment. So you might find, timber frame and truss, for example, you want to go to a particular GL account in Xero, and you just type that in down the bottom here. All right, so you might have GL account might be a number.
Yeah, righto.
So each one of these
So
just
your
maps
GL
the same
account matches whatever we've got things coded to in Xero.
Is that your general ledger account?
That's right. So you might have a cost of sales GL account, and just about most of these probably go to that GL account.
Yeah.
All right, but you might have some motor vehicle expenses or something that goes to a different GL account. So just a matter of mapping that. So I can provide you with a list of accounts that we set up by default. So we've done a few of these migrations to Xero just recently. So we can provide you what we've done for some of the other groups as well.
Okay. Otherwise, you just go and set it up.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's customizable to you. So you can set up whatever you like in here. And essentially all that'll do, it'll just tell you in here there's some tracking categories set up. So it'll say whatever there's a cost center 289, it will actually put in the right account code for you based on that mapping.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to listen to this.
Alrighty, so that's the gist of it. So if there's any specifics, let me know and I can walk you through that. But it might just be easier just to wait until you've got some more data to process if you run into issues.
Yeah. And if someone sends something just to our normal email account, because they're still getting used to sending it here, I can just forward it from our normal account through to there's Tim Jen. Yeah. Forward it through to this account, and then it will still capture it, won't it? I've done that.
Yes. Yep, you can. So if you get an email, you can forward it yourself through your newengland.ip email address. But what you may lose there is that if it's relying on the supplier's email address to capture the data,
Oh, okay.
it won't automatically capture. It wonon't know how to read their invoice if it's something that you've trained. So,
Yeah.
so the catch is there that it needs to validate the N number that it can find on the invoice. If it can't find that, it needs to rely on the email address that it comes from. So
Right.
some of them may work. If you forward something and it can read the ABN correctly, it'll know how to read the invoice. But others, if it can't read the invoice, you forward it through, it'll assume it's come from you and probably assign your details.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Right, so
Make sure they know.
educate your suppliers and trades and let them know what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And maybe give them a grace period, but then keep following them up, and eventually you just have that hard line and say, no, you're not doing it right. We're going to start sending everything back.
Yeah. Oh, because I've been learning too, I've sent them back a few times because I just was trying to learn where they were from. So it was easier if they just put the proper purchase order number on it.
Yeah.
Because it's really difficult to go back and find if they haven't got that on there.
Well, you've probably found it might take you 10 minutes to try and work out what job it's part of.
Yeah.
Whereas you could simply just send it back, and if they send it through correctly in the first place,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to waste your time.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So all that data matching to match the details to the right job and the right cost centre does rely on having good purchase orders. So the way you're running your business at the moment is you've got an estimated creating your purchase orders up front, which is definitely the way to go, and you get the benefits here of knowing whether something's gone over order, matches the purchase order, and it matches and data enters to the right jobs and cost centres.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's working really well.
Very good. All right, well, we might leave it there then. So,
all right, thank you.
Through for you.
That's it. That's good.
Excellent.
No, that's very straightforward. Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Get it happening. Thank you. Sorry I was late.
No, that's all right. Just a miscommunication there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. All right.
No worries, guys. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. So